In this stream, I'm going to show you how to design composables that are actually flexible, clean, and fun and easy to reuse. You'll learn some scalable design patterns that actually help you create reusable composable components. We will cover slot APIs, modifiers, theming, configurations, and more by using real code. And if you are ready to take the feature of Android seriously, stay till the end as I'll reveal some cool stuff that you might like. Now, let's actually see what we are going to work on. I have prepared some stuff here. So basically, we are going to start by creating this card. And before I reveal too much, let's actually take the simplest approach that we can do to create this composable. For the people on the call, if you have any questions on the way, please let me know. Just shoot the question straight. And if there are questions for the people in the stream, please also ask the questions in the chat. There is somebody saying that he's Korean. Hello, welcome to the stream. So this is Figma design here. And yeah, let's start building this thing now. So here inside Android Studio, I have created already some structure. I'm gonna push this project later on and I'm gonna link it in the description below. And I've already introduced, as you can see here, we have some interesting font and it is already added in the project. So let's start off by creating this composable and I'm gonna call this info card. And that's gonna be a composable that will be named info card. And right now, oops, I have to share the screen for the people in the call. One moment. And I would also check if the appearance is okay. It should be okay. The code should be readable. So that's our little info card. And I'm straight away going to create a preview for it so that I can see what I'm doing. I usually make the previews private functions. Preview info card. I'll use this the theme that is already coming with the project. I haven't created anything specific for now because that's not what we are going to be talking about today. And I will say Navigator theme, and inside I'm gonna put the info card. So far, so good. Now, as for the card, let's see again what we need to do and how we are going to approach it. So basically on the top, we can create a row, then below we can add this text and then one more text below that. So should be straightforward. Let's create here a column. And then, yeah, we are gonna organize the column a little bit later. Then inside we have a row that has horizontal arrangement space between. Then I think the content inside that row should be vertically aligned to the center. And this one will go throughout the whole thing. Modifier fill max width. Now inside this row, what I do have is a text that says weekly goal. And then I have a button. On click for now does nothing, and inside it has a text that says, what was the text again? Create new goal. Create new goal. And since the button is basically a row, we are inside the row scope now. If I add one more thing here, it's gonna add it at the end. And in this case, I'm going to add icon. And it will be icons, icons, auto mirrored field, keyboard arrow, I think it is the right, and content description null for now. I know this is bad practice. We should always do like take care of the content description, but for now we are doing something different. So that would be my button, although I will need to change some colors for it. And then below that, below this row, I have a text that says an A, and it is a little bit bigger. So for now, I'm gonna say style is going to be material theme, typography, and that would be title large. And finally, I have that last line where the text is, my Android Studio is a little bit not not very fast today. You haven't, what was the text? You haven't created any goals yet. You haven't created any goals yet. And yeah, and okay. So now let's build and refresh. Let's see what we've got. So almost there. Now let's actually fix the styling so that we are going to have the appearance that we want to. First, I'm gonna start from here. I'm going to add a modifier. And on this modifier, I'm going to add, first I'm gonna clip it with rounded corner shape. And that one was, I think, 8 dps in Figma. Then once it is clipped, I'm going to add a background, and I'm gonna copy the background from here. I have it so that because I don't have it in my theme or anything. So I'm just gonna hard code it for now. And then I do need to add some padding. I think it is 16 dp in Figma. Now we are getting closer to what we saw. The texts are not correct, the color. It should be here, color. I'm gonna hard code white. And I'll do the same for this text. Well, this is inside a button. Okay, well, for the button, I'm gonna add colors here. Button defaults, button colors. Now, here, container color is going to be, again, I think it's gonna be color white, and then content color is the same as the background. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here, comma, then on click. Yeah, that's what I want. Then I have here this color white. Nope, not there, but here. I'm gonna move this in new lines so it's gonna be easy to reason about. And same here. Cool. Now let's take a look what we've got. We are pretty close to the design, so the spacing here seems a bit wrong. We can fix that by, so first I think the spacing here is a little bit, this NA is being pushed because of the button. The button doesn't look straight, pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is here in the column, I'm going to add vertical arrangement spaced by, I think I'm gonna do 12 dp, something like that. And now as of the button itself, I couldn't make it smaller. But the first thing that I would like to present here would be if we can, like how we can do this is, often watch your videos in Korean and get help. Please upload live as video later. Yeah, the lives are anyway going as videos later. So the first thing is how this content color and like container color are being provided, how we can do something similar. So here we can use surface. And the surface allows us to apply some colors, basically as a content. It's gonna provide them to through composition local. We don't have to think too much about it for now. So here I would just say the color is going to be, because it's gonna add some background, the color will be color transparent. And then the content color will be, I want the content color to be the color of these two. And then this one will be the color of the button. I can think about it later. So the content color is going to be this one. And then inside here, I'm going to create a row where I'm gonna pass a modifier that will clip with rounded corner shape of 50. So it will apply a background that is going to be, so this background is color white for now, color white. So I'm trying to recreate the button, but with different spacing here. Then I think it has to be clickable. And on click, we are not gonna have anything just yet. And then here, I would say, I will add some padding, and basically only horizontal padding. And that padding is going to be, let me see, I'm gonna make it 12 dp. And then inside this row, now I can add the text and the icon. And I can, that's basically the button that I'm looking for. And I can remove that one. Okay, so far so good. I think now we are pretty much, or quite closer to what we are seeing here. All right, now what is the problem with this composable that we have created right now? In terms of reusability, so this is naive approach. This is basically where we start anyway. This is a good start, but how we are going to think about reusability. So all these colors and text is basically can be pulled out in the function, and it could be we can make some defaults and then we'll be able to change. But is that scalable? Is it scalable enough? So one problem here is that if I call this info card and I'm calling that from here, I cannot change anything. So the rule number one when creating custom, especially reusable composables, is to provide modifier API. So we have to be like, in order to be able to control a little bit the appearance of this composable, I need to have a modifier. That's one. Then I need to have control of the, like we can easily, for example, start off by extracting this. So the text can come as a property. That's cool. So here it will be, let's say, I'm going to name this title text. So title text. And that automatically adds it here, but it doesn't add it with a named argument, title text. Then, as I said, modifier. Now, when it comes to modifier, the problem, like we have to figure out, is this something that we need to be able to control? Is this okay to have it as default, or can we control it in a different way? So, for example, here, if I want to have like more control, like if this is okay, but I want to add additional control, I can wrap this column into yet another parent that's gonna have a modifier that will be provided. So something like column, let's say. In fact, before it gets confusing, let's actually first introduce a modifier here. So my studio is pretty slow today, I don't know why. So here I'm going to add an argument, modifier, and by default it's gonna be modifier. And I want that to be first. So I'm gonna do a little bit of formatting here. Okay. Let me maybe restart Android Studio. It's quite slow. Okay, now it even blocked completely, I guess. So I'll have to restart anyway. Okay, let's see for the people in the chat if there are any questions. Would you have like a customized button and maybe change the theme for the colors, or are the colors already in the theme? Sorry, miss beginning. Yeah, so we are gonna have, so basically we are gonna try to make reusable composable of this and how we can actually think of scalability. And to start revealing a little bit, so this is the Figma design that we have created, but basically it turns out that we need to support multiple versions of that card, like this one, and this one. And the idea is to make what we started with reusable and how easily we can do that, and like how we can think of scalability. So that's what we want to do. And I would like to start talking about what are the actual problems that we are having right now. So let me first check if I can fix Android Studio. It always happens in the middle of a live stream. So let me first maybe restart. Come on. I'm sorry about this. Well, I can kill it manually or forcefully, if that's gonna save us a little bit of time. So force quit. Now I'm gonna launch. I'm sorry about this. Let's close
Yeah,
this
it's not an
project.
issue of this happens all the time with Android Studio.
Yeah, sorry about that. So we have this project. Hopefully what we've done so far is not lost. I really hope about that. Okay, let's see if we can get the preview working. Yeah. So let's make it smaller, or basically like that. Yeah. So first, what I started talking about the modifier. Now I have a modifier here, but it's not applied, and basically I couldn't control anything. Now there are two ways of approaching this. If I want to have more finer control, like I can have here, I can wrap this into a column that is going to take as modifier the modifier that comes in. That's one. But for now, like if for this API that I have to work on, as I have seen here, it's okay because like this padding, I can still configure it, like the rounded corners and stuff like that. I can use the modifier that comes in and apply, like clip with the rounded corners, apply background and add padding. And by the way, these 1, 2, 3 properties or the values, I can control them in a different way. And part of the idea behind this stream is to show you how we can do that. So bear with me for now. Next is, so we extracted modifier, we extracted title. We have to move on with the rest of the things. And that would be, let's go one by one. So here we have these colors and everything. Here I have create new goal. So that one would be also, I guess, button title. So we can extract it to, let's say, button title. And let's see here. Yeah, it works. Button title. Next up would be this NA. So maybe this NA, where was it? We can call it, let's say, amount. Or I don't know, probably like if I take a look here, we have weekly goal NA. It sounds like an amount. Or yeah, maybe not an amount, but naming is always hard. So I don't know. If somebody has a better name, let me know. I'm gonna stick to amount because like you can consider the stress that I'm presenting now, so it's not that easy to think about all the things. And I'm gonna extract this one. Well, before extracting this one, actually, let's take a look a little bit more. And one more thing that I want to do is this button is clickable, and here we said it's gonna be clickable, and it will call. So often think what I'm seeing when I'm looking at code bases from people is that they would create here. Let's do it properly, or in fact, let's don't do it properly. Here would be something like on create new goal click. So this is accurate according to the current UI, but the problem is it is literally coupling us with the actual implementation inside. And when we are thinking about scalability, the key is to think about how we can actually make this more sort of reusable. So in that sense, if I also take a look back to the design, we have create new goal, we have update weekly goal, update wait goal, so create new goal. So the click action should be something like on click or on click basically. So just stick to the defaults. And this card has only one click. But if, for example, we had multiple actions, then we can have on primary click, on secondary click, and so on and so forth. Maybe depends on the API that you are doing. Now on click, here gonna be on click. And ultimately, this one, I was thinking about extracting it, but if we take a look in the design, we have in the first one, we have you haven't created any goals yet, and there is no progress. In the second, there is that one and a progress. In the third one, there is that one without progress. In the fourth one, there is progress without label, meaning that this is pretty much dynamic content. And then the second thing that I wanted to present here was the slot API, what they are considering, or it is called online from what I'm seeing in code bases and talking with people, they call it slot API. Basically, nothing new, nothing weird. If you just create, let's say, a row, you are passing content down the row with a slot. Basically, you just create a slot and then you can pass whatever you want. So in that sense, what we are going to create here is I'm going to introduce a here a slot that is going to be basically, I'm going to do that in front of the amount. So it will be something like content, and it will be composable type that will yield unit, something like that. Then we have the on click, and here I'm going to render that content. And I'll take this, and here I'll do content is going to be my text that used to be there. And then I have on click. Will do nothing. So far, so good. Nothing changed in our composable so far. It's still good. And then how do we make this, how do we bring this to the new level? Like, for example, now with the colors, like if you think a little bit about the colors, now we have white, like let's analyze a little bit. So here we have green background. So we have background that changes. Then we have the color of the text. Although we have two colors, like white or black, we can expose, let's say, background color that will default to green, and then we can have, like, for each card when calling that, we can have different color. And then the same for the rest, for the button, for example, for the content inside a button. And for the rest of the items, we can do the same. But because we are gonna have, like, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 colors approximately. Maybe it is an idea to group them together. And basically, again, this is not something new, but this is something that comes from Compose SDK, and we have to leverage. We can do something similar, and that's called configuration. So we can have default colors configuration, and we can have default shapes configuration, and we'll see all of them in action as we go. So far, what we've done is we introduced the modifier, we introduced slot. Now we're gonna do the configuration. To add a configuration, usually the way to do that is in the same file, we are going to define an object. And this object, usually I want to call it the name of the composable defaults. So in this case, info card defaults. And then inside, I'm gonna have an immutable data class that will be called, let's say, colors. And then what I've got is I got background color. Then I have title color. Then what else? So we have basically button color and button content color. So let me see. So we have button color and button content color. Then we have amount color. So we don't necessarily need to define all of these, but we want to be flexible with them. And then we can default them, and we'll see how to do that. But we are sort of adding the flexibility to change any of them independently if we need to later on. And then content color is gonna be a color that we will use for these, let's say for the slot. So far, so good. Then I couldn't default them right away here because I have to, color is a composable API, and I couldn't use color white, for example, here. Well, color white I could, but I couldn't define something that is like, if I have, let's say, some composable API call, because this is not composable context. And for that, we are gonna do a composable function that we can call colors, and thinking of and it will create colors, basically, object. And if you think of API, for example, the button, I don't have a button here, but yeah, the button has button defaults, for example, and then you do button defaults.colors or button colors, which is a function. And then you can define only the ones that you want or the ones that you want to change. So in this case, we are going to have background color. Well, I'm going to take all of these to save a little bit of time. And I'm going to remove these. And this is going to be, well, sorry about that. This is fine, but it should be here. And then I can do here, well, I can do return colors, or I can directly say equals colors. And then I'm gonna have background, title, button, button content, amount, and what else? Content. Yeah, let's move them into new lines. It's gonna be easier to work with this. Cool. And another thing when you're working in Compose code, maybe if you want your code to look a bit better, maybe here you can change the indentation to like less, and then when you reformat, it's gonna make the indentation a bit nicer. Now let's actually default these to something. So here we have the background to be this. So the background color in the colors is going to be that one. Then title color by default is gonna be color white. The button color, it is going to be also color white. The button content color is basically our background color by default. Of course, we can change it when we call this function. The amount color is also color white. This is just a way to show you what we can do, what are the possibilities. And I'll do this one also color white. Cool. And now that I have defined the color defaults, what I would do here after the click, I can say colors, which are gonna be my info card defaults colors, is going to be info card defaults colors, like that. And I'm defaulting already, so then I can use these colors to change stuff inside. So these ones will be colors background. And so far, as we can see in the preview, nothing changes. Then what else we are having here is the text. This color will be color title, colors title. This one will be colors button content. Then we have background here. It's gonna be colors button color. Then these ones I don't have to change. Then I have the text. This one will be the amount. And for the content, how am I going to provide? So basically here I am saying color white, but what if I want to provide an API that will change the color by default, like by itself. So the same way that, for example, the button does, or some other composables that are having defaults. So how we can do that? Again, the same trick that we've done here with the surface, we can do here. We can wrap that in a surface. So it will be a surface, and this one will be the color is going to be colors color dot transparent, but the content color is going to be my colors content color, and then I'll render the content, and boom, so far so good. Now if we take a look here, we will see how it is actually done, and we can leverage that API. Okay, now this is pretty decent. And additionally, we can, like if you want to, well, let's first maybe create these other ones to see how easily we can recreate them now. Now that we have this info card as reusable composable, let's see what are the possibilities. So what I'm gonna introduce here, I'll make a column so I can list them one after another. And I'll actually make this vertical arrangement spaced by 24 dp, so I can have them a little bit. Yeah. And then another one will be, what is my second one? My second one is this. So current steps count, it will be this one. Current, steps count. Then update weekly goal. Update weekly goal. This one is 52.74K. And then the content, your current steps progress, your, okay, looks like I have lost my connection. Let's wait until everything reconnects. Can somebody confirm on the call if I am back? Okay.
Yeah, you are back too.
Yeah, sorry, the network issue was there. And yeah, let's see now. Now what I can do here is I can say colors is info card default colors, and what I could do is I can change the background. And let me copy it from somewhere because I have it. So that we are not gonna waste time figuring out. So background is gonna be this. Not that function, but colors, the function, and then I can change one independently. And now, as we take a look, basically, we are pretty much there, right? We only need to add this progress bar. So how do we add the progress bar? Basically, here we can add a horizontal, wasn't it? Progress bar, yeah, or no, linear. Yeah, linear progress indicator, that's the API that I was looking for. Let's do some changes here. So first of all, as you can see, it is appearing on top rather than below this. So what we can do is, for this content, if we want, we can here, when defining the composable, we can do column scope. That's one, like that we can, just in case you want to leverage that one. Or I can directly say here, column, text linear, and then it's gonna put them one after another. And then as of the values, first I need to give it a modifier, fill max width. The progress is going to be, I think, 0.7, let's say. Doesn't matter for now, but the appearance does matter. So what I need to do is I have to change this a little bit. So the track color is going to be, let's say, color white copy 0.3 F. So 30% opacity, I think it should be the track color. I don't want to draw this at the end. If you can see it, there is this, let me see, how can I do this? Yeah, there is this little dot at the end. I don't want that. And so I'm gonna say draw stop indicator empty lambda. It's gonna remove, and then this gap is basically what's left. And that gap is gap size, it will be 0 dp. But it doesn't look right because of the way it is drawing like this rounded corners. So to change that, I have to use the stroke cap. The stroke cap, I think it should be but. Yeah, but then we lost the rounded stuff on the edges, as you can see on the sides. And then also the track color is cool, but what about this other color? So color will be color white, full opacity. So that's closer. And then also I can do on the modifier, I can do fill max size and then clip with rounded corner shape 50. So now the corners are nice, as you can see, and basically we get closer to what we wanted here. Well, there is a little gap because I was doing that myself, doing in Figma, and stay with me. Basically, I'm gonna share you something cool at the end. But yeah, I was doing this myself, so I wasn't able to move it a little bit up. Um, but like, yeah, if you want, we can add that gap basically here by doing vertical arrangement spaced by, let's say, 16 dp or whatever spacing we need. We can do that. For now, I'm just gonna remove it. Cool. And yeah, we're pretty close with the design. One last thing is now here, this linear progress indicator, I'll have to also change some stuff, like be able to change the things. And basically the only thing that changes is the color, as I can see. The rest is the same. And I can also extract this into reusable composable. So I can take this and just above here, I'll create composable progress indicator, for example. I'm gonna expose a modifier and a call. Well, I need also the current progress, which is going to be a lambda that will produce float and a color. Now, as you can see, in this case, I have only the color is something that changes. And then I'm gonna wrap my linear progress indicator into that. And here I'll just do progress equals progress. The track color is going to be the color, and the color is going to be the color, and everything else remains the same. So basically I created a reusable composable, and in this case, well, I have to use that modifier. I don't need much of configurations or something like that. This is going to do the job. So like what I'm saying is be mindful when creating the reusable composables. Also, like we are going to get to a little conclusion at the end on what to pay attention when doing this. Anthony, go ahead. You have a raised hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jav. So I see that for the linear progress indicator, the API they provided is taking a lambda
Yeah.
that returns a float.
Yeah.
I also see you're doing the same thing here. So I'm wondering, why don't they just take a float value as opposed to exposing a lambda that returns a float?
That's an excellent question, actually. That is an optimization. You can definitely put the progress, but it is like when the progress changes, if, for example, your progress changes over time frequently, it's going to cause recompositions for the entire composable. This way, it is not going to recompose because it knows where it is placed. It knows how much size does it take. And it only has to redraw some stuff. And this one is like, because there are three phases in the composition scope, like there is the composition, the layout, and the drawing. And this is only going to do the drawing instead of recomposing the whole thing. So basically, it is a performance optimization. And I think we spoke inside the community a lot about that. I can refer you to some materials if you want later.
Oh, okay, that'll be
Cool.
great.
So
Then,
now I can use,
sorry, Jov.
yeah.
So another thing, Is it possible for the content composable, the slot API you passed in earlier, is it possible for it to take parameters or arguments? Is that a possibility?
I'm not sure. What do you mean?
Okay, again, because we might be building this application such that the progress indicator changes.
Yeah, then well, the progress will come from your state. So like basically here, the progress, I think we're like from the content here, we are making reusable composable, and then we don't care what sort of content we are providing. But when providing the content, as we see here, our preview is our tester of the API. We have to pass linear progress indicator, or in this case, I can change this to just progress indicator. Sorry, I have to do this progress indicator. I need modifier, progress, and color. So whoever is going to call my reusable composable, in this case the info card, will have to supply will have to supply progress indicator if they want to, and then the progress comes there. So like from the perspective of my reusable composable, I don't care. So the slot API is not meant to do that kind of things that I think that you are searching for in this question.
Okay, got
Hopefully
it.
that
Thank you.
answers.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have that progress indicator, reusable, cool. And now let's actually proceed with adding these other info cards, and let's see how hard or easy it will be. So here I'm gonna add one more info card. And now if I go back to my design, in this case, the title is current weight. My button title is create new goal. Amount is 91.4 kg. And then my content is, let me borrow that one, and I'm going to say you haven't created any weight goals yet. You haven't created any weight loss or weight goals yet. And then on click will be nothing. Now as of the colors, then I will do colors, well, info card, defaults, colors, background is going to be white. And now nothing works, obviously, but then I have to change the colors of the rest of the things so that it's gonna work. So the title color is gonna be color black. The amount color is gonna be color black. The content color is also gonna be color black. And then what else do I have? I have button color, and that one was, I think, this color, which is, where was it? My default, this one. Boom. Easy busy. So my reusable composable is like working okay. And then one more. Title is yeah, the working now on the last one, this one, weight goal progress. Yeah, I think it should be GP. Let me actually take, I have some stuff here. Button title is update weight goal. Then amount is 83 point or 89.3 kg. And now I have content only progress indicator, which has modifier fill max width. Then I have color is this one, I guess. And progress is gonna be, let's say, 0.75. Then I have on click here, empty. That's pretty much similar, only the background color should change. So I have to change the colors. Let me actually borrow this. The background is, I think I have it somewhere here. It is tricky. So I'm not gonna dig into Figma. I think that's the one. Yeah. And yeah, so we've got pretty much the preview that we want. Awesome. So now the preview here is acting as, for us, it is providing us a way to see how easy it is to reuse our composable. Now, as another well, the color of the button also has to change. So the colors, title, color, amount, and then button color. And this one, I can do button content color, color white. Yeah, now it works fine. Cool. Next up, I mentioned at the beginning that these things, I am using the modifier straight away, and I'm clipping and adding background and padding. The background you already saw, but how can I change these other things if I want to? Well, that might be a nice exercise, like take home exercise, but let's actually do that together. So what I would do is I would do immutable data class, let's say sizes, maybe. And then here I'm gonna
Sorry,
have
some hands are up, Joe.
corner radius in DP. I'm gonna have padding in DP, radius. And again, I'm gonna expose a composable function. Give me just a minute, guys. We are gonna get to a QA just in a moment. Font sizes, and then here I would say the same values. And these are gonna be, by default, the corner radius is gonna be 8 dp, and this one is going to be 16. And this will create sizes, which is, yeah, corner radius is corner radius, and then padding is padding. And then here I would also do sizes, info card defaults. Sizes is info card defaults sizes. And then here I can use sizes corner radius and sizes padding. Now again, I went back to fully customizable stuff. And yeah, now before we get to the QA, pretty much we've finished with the whole thing that we wanted to do. And as I said, this repository is going to be pushed. I'm going to push these changes to a repository. The repository is already on GitHub, and I'm going to link it in the stream, for example. And what else I wanted to say next is, like, as a recap, we've done the modifier, we added the slot for content, and we add configuration to, for example, show this optional content in the bottom. We do some configurations for shapes, for colors, or, well, not for the shapes, for the sizes and for the colors, and basically that's it. Now, there are some things that are pretty much static. So, like, we couldn't go full-blown customizable because there has to be an end somewhere, right? And we have to figure out, basically, from the design, to analyze a little bit and to see what are the things that are sort of static and what are the things that change. So, for example, here, the current, like the title on the left and the button on the right, and the button on the right, well, they are always on the left and on the right. Then this one is always below. This amount is always in the middle. So in that sense, we don't have to be too much like to let that flexibility through the configuration. But for the things that change, then yeah, definitely. So as a recap, always pass modifiers so that you will be able to change the appearance of the reusable composable. Use the slot APIs for content that is dynamic. Then favor configuration over branching logic, because, like, what I could have done is I could have added a lot of, for example, in the info card, if else to practically allow that configuration changes, or add lots of defaults here in this one. But when you favor configuration, you're sort of making more sort of logical units, and you have nicer defaults, so to say. So you're basically hiding the complexity behind good defaults. And reusability is all about the making it flexible, but you have to sort of have some sort of to predict how much it is going to change, so that you need some sort of design up front. So as a conclusion, I would say you let you let the user to be able to control the things that you expose, just in so you let them do just enough, allow them or give them just enough flexibility, but not full freedom. As I said here, like, you couldn't really make one thing that fits all. But yeah, as a good design, I would say it has sensible defaults, it has some optional overrides, and consistent theming. Now, before, just in a moment, we're going to get to the Q&A. What I showed you today comes from years of trial and error building reusable composables. So it's not something that I saw yesterday. And as we saw from the latest developments at Google and JetBrains, they double down on Compose. And the future of Android is that we are going to be expected, our applications are going to be expected to work on multiple screens. So we need to optimize for different sizes, which means this, like, mobile is not going to go anywhere. So many people are afraid that Android is going to die, whatever, blah, blah, blah. People are just going more and more to mobile, and the whole thing gets to mobile. So in that sense, don't worry about Android. And for those that are serious about Android and Android development and the future of it, you can join us into our community, which is also linked below. And inside this community, we are all the time talking about these cool new things, new updates. So yeah, find a link in the description, and we can clarify whether you are, like, if you want to join us, and if you are committed, you are always welcome to join us. So that would be it. um, Now let's go to Q&A. So I don't know who was the first one. I'm gonna open Q and let's see. So first one says Nitesh. Go ahead. Okay, then Arpit.
Yeah, thank you, Joe, for presenting.
You are
I didn't
welcome.
know about that color. Yeah, this is really cool approach to customize the colors. I just had a quick question regarding that. So, how do we customize like light and dark theme based on this approach?
Yeah. So essentially, you are going to have a theme that's gonna have light and dark colors, and then here your defaults are gonna be coming from your theme. So instead of here the color being white or this, it could be theme or material theme. Let's say color scheme background. For example, if you happen to have a theme. So in this project, I haven't set up a custom theme. It just defaults to this one. So yeah, in case you have light and dark, probably you're gonna have a theme defined with the design system with different colors. Then you're gonna default to those colors, and all these colors are gonna come from the theme. And in that sense, this color, which is defined as background hard coded here, you will have two versions: one for dark, one for light, integrated in the theme, and that's gonna be, let's say, your background color, and then you're gonna use it here. Make sense?
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. If there are any other
Hey
questions
Joe,
on the stream, you can put them in the chat. By the way, yeah, go ahead.
hey Joe.
Hi,
Uh, good evening.
good evening.
I have a two question.
Yeah,
I have a two question. First question: how I will make a responsible UI design?
yeah. So that one, there are new APIs that are coming to Android. They are called adaptive layouts. So you can take a look into that. They are in alpha right now, but I think in one of the following streams we are gonna talk about those in details, and also inside the community, which you are part of. So yeah, basically adaptive layouts would be the answer to that.
Adaptive layout is it is a library, third party library.
It is an addition to the Compose SDK.
Okay. So I want to read on that component.
Mhm.
Sorry, layout. I want to read on that layout. So could you share with me? Share with us.
Yeah, yeah, I can
Okay.
definitely
All
share
right.
it. So I will make a
And
post in the
I have.
community, no problem.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I have a second question.
Hmm.
Um, Second question is about navigation graph. So I I'm I mean I have a dashboard screen, and in dashboard screen I'm using bottom navigation graph and drawer content drawer layout. So I am using drawer layout and bottom navigation graph, and also uh, I mean, uh, and for bottom navigation graph, I am using now now host for bottom navigation graph and drawer content. I am using only one now host and remember control, remember control and now host, and and I am using another second now host for another another sub screen. So I am getting error when I'm clicking on the now host. I mean when I'm clicking on bottom navigation screen, and there I am trying to click on there I want to try to go ahead in another screen. So
Okay, so
when I'm going,
sorry, let me stop you. So first, this stream was about reusable composables. So I appreciate the question, but I think it's out of context. And also, it is very hard to follow what is the whole context. I think I know what you're asking. So you want to have this dual navigation. You want the bottom navigation plus side menu, and that's doable. But let me actually give you a snippet how you can do that inside a community so that we save on time here and we can actually allow people to ask questions relevant for this stream. Would it make sense?
okay,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
that's makes sense.
Thank you. Okay, guys, post it in the community and maybe some code. Paul, do you mean the navigation thing that we spoke about or this stream? That was a question. Well enough question. Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna make sure that I'll post. Let me just write it down just in case. Um, Post the nav question. Cool. Will do. Yeah, I'll do. I've done an application recently that had both, and that was a requirement. And actually, Google, for example, the Gmail has the same. It has side menu and bottom navigation bar, so doable. I was talking to the one who just asked the question. Yeah, cool. Oh yeah, for Nitesh, I think because you are already part of the community, you can also post that question inside the community so that we don't forget to answer it anyway. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. If there are any other questions, happy to take them. Otherwise, um, we are going for just a little bit over 1 hour. And yeah,
Just a quick question. Sorry, I'm not sure this is a part of this reusable composable
yeah.
joke, but I'm working on like a similar thing,
Mhm.
and I had a string which is I have in two different locale, right? Like the English and French.
Yeah.
And part of the locale I wanted to color it.
Okay.
So so how should I take that approach? Because I also want that in light and dark mode. And I know that the XML string doesn't support, I
Yeah.
think, primary color or something like that, right?
Yeah. So you can use string annotated string builder in Compose.
Hmm.
Um, I think we spoke about similar things inside the community. But if not, maybe you can drop a question in the community and I will make a little video showing
Hmm.
how that's doable. I'll make a little loom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I think we can do that with the annotated string, but in that way, I think we need to measure like the indexes, right? For that string.
Well, it depends on the approach. So you can just, if you're building string, you can say append and then append, and then you're appending part something that you append. You can actually color with different color.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I will post in the community. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. No worries. Okay. So thank you so much for everybody for inside the call, for the questions, and everybody for staying until the end. And
So
one more thing that I wanted to share is I will post inside the community this thingy that I was sharing as a design that I worked on. Basically, it comes from a much larger design that we are having here as an open source design for building an application, which is this one. And these cards are basically coming from, they were inspired from this here to show our reusable composables. And inside the community, we're gonna do a challenge for building this. So maybe I'm gonna think of some stuff like um, the best solution comes to the pro for a while for free, something like that. But let's see. Um, and yeah, there might be a nice reason for people that are not in the community to join us. And we are gonna start doing some challenges like this. Hopefully, you guys are gonna like it, and hopefully, we all are going to learn a bit more for Compose and things like that around Compose. So yeah, that would be it. Thank you so much again, and yeah, I would say have a good evening and I'll see you next week. Cheers.
Joe,
Thank you.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe, I have a question. Joe, Joe,
Yeah,
I
go
have
ahead.
a
I just
doubt
ended
about
the stream. Now you can ask a question. No worries.
I